Okay, baby. Peace, everyone. It's BlackHighPriestess. So, my little painting there. It's almost 3 a.m. Um, I've been kind of trying to avoid this subject in a way because it's I don't want to do overkill when things are a hot topic. I don't want to be redundant. But there is a lot of spiritual energy behind the discussions happening um among it's more so like kind of Black Hollywood, and the new Black Hollywood is social media and whatever's going on in Atlanta and things like that. So it's like there is a spiritual energy, um and what a lot of Black leaders don't know is Vodun. They don't know African spirituality, African mysteries. um they lack a really deep rooted spiritual understanding of the curse on the Black race. um so I want to talk about why Black women wear bonnets from a spiritual perspective. And I constantly remind people of the scripture Isaiah chapter 3 um and chapter 4 that detail the curse on Black women and men. And it more specifically details how Black women will suffer the inferiority of Black men, and how Black women will lose their beauty, and how Black men will fall by the sword, and women will rule over them. So check out Isaiah chapter 3 and chapter 4 for those who read the Bible. But from a spiritual perspective, outside of what the Bible says, the reason Black women psychologically, psycho-spiritual understanding, the reason Black women wear bonnets at all is the same reason eligible Black men choose white women. It's a form of self-hatred, and it's um succumbing to white supremacy and brainwashing that erases the sexy Black woman from mass media. So Black men choose white women because they don't believe sexy Black women exist. They believe all Black women have that Mammy syndrome, where they are obese, um, unathletic, spend no time on their appearance or being sexually appealing, because all their energy goes into being a mother and nurturing a family. And all the respect that she gets is for her ability to nurture, not for her ability to arouse, to stimulate, to educate, but for her ability to nurture like a slave. Black men choose white women because they don't feel it's worth it to seek out the few sexy Black women that he probably wasn't around. And a lot of Black men don't find Black women attractive when they're raised and groomed around white people, because they're consuming all of this white media and white entertainment a lot of times, and Black entertainment that is far more colorist, that tells them that the dark-skinned women are trash and light-skinned women and white women are a trophy. And that if you are with a woman of your race, you have low status. And because Black men are inferior, more often than not, they will go along with that ideology that's promoted to them by Hollywood media. This is the same reason Black women wear bonnets. To wear a bonnet, it connotes that you don't have a connection with your natural hair. Because oftentimes when you wear a bonnet, um, it's it's different than the scarves and the head wraps traditional to African spiritual priestesshood. So a lot of times when a woman covers her hair, she's at a higher spiritual frequency and she's taking responsibility for that. But a woman's covering, aside from a spiritual calling, is her hair. And the Black woman is cursed, and the Black woman's hair is cursed. So more often than not, you see Black women who are bald, who have destroyed their natural hair texture out of self-hatred and out of being brainwashed by mass media propaganda that tells them you have no value unless you look white. So the average Black woman is too retarded to resist the temptation to feed into the Mammy syndrome, because she's being told there's no value in being feminine, because Black men hate Black women regardless. So there's no value in me being feminine. The only value I have as a Black woman is to be a nurturer. And when sexy Black women are erased from media, these Black women have no role models because they are too inferior to love themselves. They need to see another sister being sexy first. And because Black women don't see other sexy Black women in mass media propaganda more often than not, most Black women genuinely, psychologically believe there's no competition. They believe that sexiness belongs to white femininity and that their Blackness is that Mammy syndrome, and that for a man to find her attractive, he has to be attracted to that Mammy syndrome. And the reason most Black women who live under that curse of that Mammy syndrome do not feel the need to change it or take pride in being a sexy feminine woman is because most Black men marry mammies. In slavery, white men had his choice of who he wanted to rape, including the men a lot of times. So to this day, inferior Black men subconsciously look at a sexy, high value woman and say, this has to be saved for the white man who I am inferior to. I can't defeat the white man. I'm his slave. So instead of pursuing a high value woman, I'm too inferior to protect and provide for a highly desired woman. So I'm going to marry a mammy, which acquits me of the responsibility of being a man. Because a high value woman who's highly desired, you have to protect her from that potential rape. And the Black man is not qualified to protect sexy Black women. That is why a lot of sexy Black women who are athletic, who have a true connection to their hair in America, are single, with white men, lesbian, or sharing a Black man who has good dick with the other 12 Black women who are willing to share him instead of venture out into another race who will respect her. Because Black men marry mammies, because Black men are inferior. So the idea of a bonnet is a symbol of slavery. because you're wearing a bonnet, because you're covering up the covering that God gave you. You're covering that crown because white women did not want the white men to see the black woman's beauty, which is her hair, when she was working as a slave in the house around the white men. And to this day, when you peace, comment king, I forgot to holler at you last upload, so peace. To this day, when in America, when you work in these little slave labor jobs, you have these white female managers and these other white female coworkers, Karens, what have you, who intentionally make sure that the black men and the black women on the job do not relate and get along. You have these gatekeepers at these jobs who want black people to cut off their locks because the hair of a black person is so powerful. And like the Bible states, that the black woman is cursed by with baldness. It says the crowns of the daughters of Zion. So the Bible refers to our hair as a covering and a crown. And the reason black women have no connection to their hair is because they are under that curse. They have lost their beauty. And why was the black woman cursed? Out of haughtiness. And to this day, you see black women, no natural beauty, still walking around extremely haughty with a lot of nerve and audacity and gall, but no class or femininity whatsoever, and no natural beauty, purely cosmetic and purely a gold digging, white feminine energy. And when I say white feminine, I'm not talking about the dainty, delicate femininity that white women are trophied for. I'm talking about the energy that drains the black man and has nothing to offer him. Because a lot of times I get called white girl because I conduct myself with femininity, because I work out and I have a body that is more related to white women's bodies who are skinny, who are models, than it is the black woman's body, who is widely and grossly obese in America and abroad too. And when black women don't see other sexy black women to as role models, number one, and as competition, the black woman is showing you she has no value in herself. She has no value in black men. She has no value in men. Because a woman who does not take care of herself, who does not care about being feminine and being beautiful, that's a woman who hates men. That is a very lesbian spirit of a woman who you feel there's no value in being feminine. So you're taught your whole worth is to nurture and to be someone's mother. And a lot of black women, even before they become mothers, look like they've been pregnant 4, 5 times. And we have to talk about that curse on black women, how it causes the myth of sisterhood, because sisterhood is a myth. Black women hate each other, and black women only get along with other black women who look, talk, and act like them. And it's very rare in this day and age when there isn't a lot of sisterhood, um that black women venture out instead of hating on a sister who's skinnier than her, more beautiful than her, more in shape than her. Hair is longer, more natural than her. She's more well put together. She's more successful than her. She has better men in her life, or a husband. It's very rare for a black woman to venture out and, instead of hating on that woman you admire, getting to know her so you can get on her level. And not getting to know her as a frenemy, actually going to her for help and earning the right to befriend a Black woman who's better than you. Because a lot of you sisters, you hate the very Black women who are your role models, because you are so full of hatred for Black women. The Black race hates Black women. And this hatred for Black women trickles down to the Black mother and daughter. And the reason a lot of Black women wear bonnets is because her mother did not value femininity, and her mother did not teach her how to be a woman. Her mother taught her how to be a man, and her mother taught her how to act and behave. Her mother did not teach her to have pride, because her mother didn't have pride, and her mother probably was full of hatred and did not want a daughter who she would see as competition. And this is an epidemic in the Black community. Black mothers pushing their daughters toward independence and coveting their sons to the point that the Black man is null and void. The Black man has nothing to offer Black women. And a lot of that is the fault of Black men who leave Black women to raise children when she is not fit to raise children on her own. Not because she's Black, because the woman was not designed to raise children on her own. The woman is emotional and hormonal. Men are hormonal in a different way. Without order in the home, you get child molestation, you get child abuse. You get those things when there's no man in the home, a real man creating order, because weak women let predators come in, and a lot of times they're doing what they feel they need to do to take care of those children. But Black men have caused this epidemic, and American culture is a huge part of that. Because of so much warfare, men in general are taken away from America. But the mass incarceration and the lack of eligibility of Black men in general means that there are no Black men available for Black women, not marriageable. And we want to negate this with all these false statistics about the frequency of Black men marrying Black. There's no Black men for Black women. There are no eligible Black men for Black women, unless you want one of these short, bald, undesirable Black men who's super skinny or super fat, or but there's no marriageable Black men. You're going to be settling for a less desirable brother, because marriageable Black men don't marry Black women, not in America. So the hatred that Black women have for themselves, because they don't value femininity. And hip hop music that is called feminine Black women bitches and hoes, and you got to share, and I'm gonna cheat on you, and light skin is better, and all of these things that Black men, not the artist, the audience. You cannot find a Black man in America, not even in Chicago, who doesn't glorify some Black man who degrades Black women in his music and elevates white women. All of these Black men are fans of these artists who openly hate Black women and who openly degrade sexy Black women. So the reason Black women are wearing bonnets is because without the MAGA movement, you got Black people being thrust back into, there is no Black progress being made. We are further in slave syndrome than we have ever been, because we're still talking about it. So the reason Black women wear bonnets is because they are cursed. They have no connection to the hair and the crown God gave them, because they are not queens. They are slaves. They are under a curse. They are bald. They have to cover their hair. Not their hair is not their covering. They're covering their hair in shame. Black women have everything to be ashamed of. You look bad. Black women are full of shame. That's why they wear bonnets. There's no pride in being bald and not knowing how to do your hair, how to be feminine. The first step in being feminine as a Black woman is having a relationship with your hair. Then it doesn't matter, your skin color, your size, all these are subjective. But when a Black woman has no relationship with her, that castrates you as a woman. That takes away your power as a woman. You got to realize most Black women, actually, I got more Black people wanting to touch my hair than white people because Black people are so cursed and inferior. They genuinely don't believe Black women can grow their natural kinky hair long. And that's because your mothers hated you. I'm sorry. A lot of you Black women have mothers that really hated you because they did not take you out of those conditions and out of those communities. And they didn't take you into a better environment, even though they could afford to. Your fathers didn't put you in a better situation where you could be educated enough to compete with white supremacy instead of only be its victim and its fool because your parents didn't love you. And when you look at these Black women that walk around in pajamas and bonnets and things like that, you're looking at a low class household. People who eat at Denny's, and and it is what it is, but it's just like you're looking at a low class household of people who have no sense of high class, high value, no sense of worth. Everything is low value. And the main reason is because when Black women elevate themselves, there are no Black men. Those sisters can get Black men because there is a myriad of Black men at her level who she's eligible for. But a lot of Black women are realizing, understanding, I can get a man even though don't nobody want him. But it's a lot of Black women at that low frequency who can get. There's a lot of Black men at low frequencies, and they don't see any value in elevating themselves when they see that elevated Black women at higher frequencies are single or only relate to white men or superior men. So you're looking at the Black woman telling the Black man, I hate you. I don't care. You are not worth being sexy for. You hate me. You don't value me. You're going to be with a white woman anyway. And because a lot of these Black women have seen the Black men in their high schools choose white girls, grow up in watching media that tells them Black men prefer white women, and then they see it in reality, and then they get educated and they see even more Black men won't even look their way because the higher class you get, the more Black men hate Black women. Black men with no class love Black women, but the higher class you get, Black men won't even look at you. They won't look at you if you are darker than a brown paper bag. They won't look your way. No matter how high value you are, the Black men won't consider you at that level. They won't even look at you. They will treat you like you're invisible. And all of the white men will come after you. And a lot of sisters ain't cut out for that life. They ain't cut out for model life, sexy Black woman life, elevated high class Black woman life. They're not cut out for it. You not cut out to be a model. You don't control your eating. You don't control your working out. It's um if I don't work out, I'll gain weight. I'm naturally petite, but I have to work to I have to maintain my beauty. I have to maintain my hairstyle. Yeah, I can let my locks go. I can let my locks go for weeks and months and it'll still be long and everything. But I still have to twist my roots. I still have to spend 45 minutes to an hour to twist my roots and make my hair look, look a certain way, things like that. There's still maintenance that goes into it. And I earned the ability to not have to wear a bonnet, not have to cover my head at all, whether I'm asleep or out, not have to do anything to my hair, be able to go swimming, wash my hair and go, and not have to style it because it's long like a white girl's, and I can throw it up in a ponytail or do whatever, and it still looks long and beautiful, and I always 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 look feminine no matter what I do to my hair. No matter how nappy my hair is, it's long. And I earned that. And I'm letting you know black women don't want their beauty. They want to be considered as beautiful as white women without the work. Black women don't want to work for beauty and they don't see any value in putting in the work to be natural because they know if I go natural, black men ain't gonna want me. If I go they already know what it's about. They already see that. And a lot of these women are not black. A lot of these women are covering their hair in shame because they got white mothers. Some of these white mothers passed as black, but they're not black at all. They're Native American, they're European, they're mulattoes, they're white women because most black men marry white women, marry women that look like the slave master's mama. And so they don't like their hair texture. So they cover it up. They do everything to straighten their hair. They go bald as a result because a lot of these women are not black. They got mixed blood and they hate that black part of them. And so, you gotta factor in a lot of these things. But it's the same reason that black men believe white women are naturally sexy and black women are all mammies. And he looks at the black woman as a mother and the white woman as a wife because we're not being shown sexy black women. Because sexy black women, we are the weapon of the revolution. We are what will arouse black men to want to fight again. Black men, the reason black men are castrated um more than black women are ugly. But these brothers who are not castrated, they're not motivated. They'll settle with a white woman because there's no motivation from black women. And one thing I agree with Monique about, even though I've been, promoting her for years, ever since she stood up to Netflix and things like that. Even before that, when she did Precious, the 2006 BET Awards, when she did the Big Girls rendition of Beyonce's song, like Monique is the godmother of black entertainment, and she is becoming the godmother of black revolution in America, and she's using her platform to do what is needs to be done when no other black women who have that platform at that level are going to open their mouth. So a lot of these black women who are considered sex symbols, they're doing a lot of sellout stuff, so to speak, in the entertainment to maintain that um position. So it's good when we have black women who never necessarily have the privilege of being considered that sexy vixen because a lot of sisters they feel like they got too much to lose by telling the truth about black men, telling the truth about other black women, telling the truth about our race. you know um what I do agree with Monique on is What was I gonna say? I agree with Monique in that it's happening too frequently. When I go out, I haven't been to the airport in a few years, but when I go out to events in my community, um, there are no really sexy black women. Um, there are not many black women who are well put together, and you know, sometimes I'll put it like this: Chicago, I think we are probably the best dressed black people in America, um, because of the diversity of our fashion, because of our seasons. But we have lost and forfeited that title. Um, we used to Chicago. We used to be jazzy and sharp, and now and it is this younger generation because again when I like I said when I go out let's say um 40 younger than for the previous generation that is sharp and sexy and healthy. And I agree with Monique in that the reason this has to be discussed is because this is a reality now. When you go out, black hair, hairstyles, weave, fake hairstyles that are not even freshly done or well kept. And remember, black people, especially you brothers who prefer these gold digging weave wearing black women, you can't wash weave. I could wash my hair 50 times a day if I want. I can go swimming and I know how to swim. You don't keep a good, sexy, slender, muscular body without knowing how to work out. And black women are so used to being ashamed of their hair. A lot of black people are like afraid of water and and afraid to get to know the water. And that is the number one element of African spirituality. And so this curse on the black race of being disconnected from the crown, disconnected from the ancestors, which is the water, the crown is the hair. That's that curse that the Bible was talking about that God, the Most High, put on black people from out because of our haughtiness. And to this day, black people still have a lot of nerve when we should be repenting more than any other race because of what we've done with our heritage and with our sovereignty as the dominant human. Um, this fear of water and refusal to connect to water and this this attitude of black America that certain things are for white, talking proper is white, swimming and connecting to water and sports that deal with water because ice is water, and all of these sports in cold climate and winter climates that we claim are more European or for white people. You ignorant black people act like you never heard of Eskimos. You ignorant black people want to make white people superior in every way by accrediting them with everything that you feel is foreign to you instead of trying to understand it, because white people have no problem learning about your shit, no problem wearing African garb and African tattoo symbology and learning African culture and marrying African men and women and so it's like this allergy that black people have to learning about the superior race that conquered you. That's scientific proof of your inferiority, because by definition your fear of what you don't understand, instead of your interest in learning it, and even getting to a point where you can conquer and defeat it, which is necessary for blacks. It, the allergy to superiority and to elevating yourself, it proves that scientific theory that black people are in fact inferior, because black people live in fear, and black people live in fear of what their friends and their families think. And I know in Chicago, so many black people are enslaved to what goes on in their family and what's acceptable to their family. And I got to take care of family, and a lot of these family members ain't doing shit to help them reach higher goals. And most of the family is some baby mama. Black men in Chicago are all slaves to a baby mama. And the ones that aren't live with their mamas. And no woman thought he was worth trapping with the baby because he's still living with his mama. So you got to understand, black women a lot of times are not taught how to be sexy. And when I get called white girl all the time, it's because I have that confidence that white women have in expressing sexiness. And I grew up in the church, but I wasn't stupid enough to let someone dictate certain things. And that comes with witchcraft. A lot of women don't have no inherent mysteries of femininity to defeat white male society, and to defeat their mother's jealousy and hatred, and fear of uh having a sexy daughter, or their father's fear of having to protect and raise a sexy woman, because a lot of men don't like powerful women. And a lot of men, um they they want the bragging rights of having a sexy daughter, but a lot of these black men, they have mistreated black women all of their life. So having a sexy daughter is, it's more of a curse on them, because she's going to experience all that mistreatment and karma that he did to other women, because he has no respect for women. So watch out, babe. Stop. There's some bug at the window or whatever. But so there's a spiritual energy to black women who put no effort into being attractive or desirable. And a lot of it starts in the home, where they're groomed to be a mammy. And when you see that mammy syndrome of a black woman, where she doesn't, her hair is short, bald, she has put no effort into growing her hair long term so it can be long and flow naturally the way a white girl's does, or the way a sexy feminine woman's hair flows. And yeah, some of you brothers, you like bald women and things like that, whatever. Most black men like masculine women anyway. But you really want a powerful level of femininity. You want to be accepted by white men, and considered to have the femininity and that trophy femininity of a white girl and everything. Connect to your African self. Stop, these black women really believe white women are superior to them. They don't, there's no value in being African, because black men make fun of black women who look too African, or who too unapologetic. And black men don't date black women who are smarter than them. And it takes a lot of intelligence to solve the problem of white supremacy by defeating it through not being a stereotype. Their mothers are not teaching them how to do their hair. Their fathers are not teaching them femininity. their friends are no better than them. A lot of times, you got to watch who you hang around, because it's very dangerous for a bunch of fat black women, especially who are bald, to be hanging around each other constantly. It's that church syndrome where it's like the church creates this um fat bald black woman. And when I say bald, she can either have short hair or she's wearing weave because she doesn't have real hair. She doesn't do her real hair underneath. These short little ponytails, the fact that having short hair and going through that phase is considered an ugly phase, that lets you know what black women think of themselves, and it lets you know what black men think of black women. These black women have been told by black men all of their life that they're ugly if they look African. And a lot of black men in America don't know what to do with a black woman who is unapologetically African. White men do. White men know what to do with feminine women. Black men being widely castrated. Black men need a masculine woman to take care of him. And a lot of sisters are willing to play a man's role just to have a man that's black, you know? And a lot of their mothers and fathers are teaching them to behave like men. And again, it is a form of rebellion. The black woman is letting men know how she feels. Bonnets, pajamas, baldness, tacky attire, and bad hygiene and things, those are all a direct result of the black man telling the black woman that she's ugly in music and entertainment and reality, by actively choosing white women. So let's stop this myth that most black men marry black women. That's not true. That's not what I've seen. It's not true. It's a lie that black men like to tell, so they don't have to change. So these are some of the reasons that black women wear bonnets at all, let alone in public. She's telling the world, I am a slave mammy. I am not someone to be respected. I'm not someone to be looked at or admired. I don't want attention. Attention scares me. I'm not a woman of power. I'm a very insecure woman who doesn't want attention, and I want to be respected for being able to nurture people. I want to be acceptable to other black women who are full of hatred, who would hate me if I started looking better than them. And having friends is more important than having dignity and respect. I would be a threat to black men if I started becoming superior to them by looking better and being a high value woman, by having ultimate femininity and maintaining it. I don't want to threaten black men. So I'm going to give this message to black men that, hey, I have no value for myself. You can come tell me whatever you want, lie to me all you want, marry me and get me pregnant and cheat on me with actually sexy women and still come home, as long as you still come home to me. That is the mentality of these black women. I can get a man by playing the barefoot and pregnant role, because that's what Bonnets and Pajamas is. It is depicting a woman who has no training in high class, no sophistication. All her training is in being around babies all day. And those are the type of women Black men have babies by, because he can go out when he wants and act single when he wants and still come home. Because those type of Black men don't have what it takes to marry and please long term a feminine woman, because he's a dog. And you see Black men all the time having bonnet wearing, pajama wearing Black women at home, obese, never do their hair, never wear makeup, and never work out. It doesn't matter what you wear. If you are a whale, if you're a cow, and I say this with all due respect, if you don't try to lose weight so your shape can show, it really don't matter what you got on. And that's what a lot of these Black women look like. When you go out in public, it's hard pressed to find a sexy, in shape Black women with locks or a fro or cornrows that are her own. And it's one thing if you're young, but why so many Black women starting your natural hair journey in your 40s, in your 30s? No, no, being a teenager in your 20s, no part of your being, Black women wanted natural hair, wanted to be considered beautiful, wanted to stop telling people, oh yeah, I bought it, wanted to stop having to explain to, no part of you wanted to not ever have to explain to white people or lie to other people about your real hair. You were okay with living a lie. So, one thing I'm proud of is how many Black people I'm seeing now in comments and things, who are openly disgusted by the Black race, and who are refusing to give into the hype and give into all of these new age doctrines about what women need to do to get a man, or what men need to do to get a woman, or to keep a woman, or to love. I'm glad Black people are saying to hell with it all, and I'm glad Black people are saying, you know what? Fuck people who think Jay-Z is the best rapper, or want to talk about Biggie versus Tupac, or want to talk, fuck these Black people stuck on stupid, stuck on whatever the media tells them to be stuck on whatever's new, what Meg the Stallion did. Fuck these Black people who are so consumed with what American media told you was the definition of being Black. Because all these niggas know how to do is talk about some mainstream shit that was promoted to Black people by niggas who ain't never done nothing for Black people a good goddamn day in their life. Kanye, Jay-Z, Beyonce, all the ones y'all love to love. I'm happy to see Black people saying other Black people need to die off before our race can elevate, admitting that we're not getting better, we're getting worse, and it is necessary for a Black person to realize the Black race is inferior by choice and to lead. Waiting on a white government to give you funding, to give you programs. By the way, programs don't help the Black community. None of those programs help the Black community, because Black people don't want to do better. Black people who want to do better leave the ghetto and go move around superior people who can provide them and their children with superior education that will make them something other than a fool their whole life, and will allow them to be relevant outside of the hood. Inferior Black people wait for government funding and put no effort into expanding. You wait for white people to act upon you. And I'm glad to see so many Black people in America realize the only revolution is to get away from the inferiority of our race and live your best life. And, if you have the time, energy, and patience, then you can spend your professionalism helping Black people. But I wouldn't waste your time, frankly. Some of you people get off on helping Black people. I'm not really, a lot of Black people fear the type of healing that I have to offer in ways that most white people can easily recognize these powers. So when Black people become toxic to your life and to your energy, and when Black revolution becomes toxic to your livelihood, that's when you need to take your professionalism and say it's better to have a broader audience or speak to people who actually want to learn. Most Black people are not trying to learn. They want to talk, they want to vent, they want to argue, they want to bash and express their hatred for other Black people. Um, like I said, the one thing Monique is right about with all she said, but the one thing I most definitely agree on a spiritual level, there is a problem. And it I'll put it like this. The times where I see the most really beautiful, sexy Black women who are not stereotypical in their attitude or their appearance, who are really actually outstanding in their femininity, is in places that white people frequent or places that are diverse. It's not in the hood. It's places that are up north. Um, Sometimes downtown, which in Chicago has become like the hood, but it's more places up north where there's more diversity, or places where it's predominantly white, because white people t- at least the type of white people I grew up around and know, but in general, um white people with class don't keep trashy Black company. So it's not about necessarily how you look as so much as your class. And a lot of times, white men have very high standards for femininity. Black men have no standards for femininity. Black men have no standards for actually Black men prefer masculine women, because masculine woman can have hold the dick that the Black man no longer has. But white men have very high standards for femininity. So the times that I see the most beautiful Black women, and a lot of times they have weave too, but they actually have good attitudes. They're well put together. They have high class, and they will acknowledge another sister, not just openly express their jealousy. Because everywhere I go in the hood, Black women have no problem letting me know how jealous they are of me. Black women have a very hard time complimenting me. That wasn't the case years ago. Black women would loved to see a Black woman representing them in ways they couldn't see in media. And now that we have more Black women like Issa Rae, um, um, what's her name? Cole, um, who did I May Destroy. Now that we have more prominent Black women making us look good in entertainment, telling our stories, a lot of Black women don't like to see other Black women succeed. Before, it was a Black woman would root for you simply because you were Black. Now Black women will hate you because you're Black and successful and beautiful. Black women don't like to see that. and they don't like to see it when you're dark skinned. And so a lot of black women who don't have natural hair don't have the spiritual ability to check their hatred of other sisters who are successful. And successful is subjective. Most black women see me as successful because I defeat the stereotypes of what black women look like and act like and talk like. They see me as successful because I have achieved the beauty that they desire without looking like a white girl. But a lot of black women who have financial success, who have husbands, who have all these other things, they will hate on women like me. They have everything they need, but because they don't look the way they deep down wish they looked, because they really don't feel beautiful as a black woman, even though they have everything that they need: money, success, husband, family, support, career. But if they see a black woman who's sexier, darker, longer natural hair, she has no problem expressing her hatred for me and for you other sisters who look like me and have that energy of the witch, a spiritually activated energy, a woman of power. They don't understand it. Black people fear what they don't understand, and that fear leads to self-hatred. I want my audience to understand the spiritual warfare, and to understand that if you want to defeat the curse upon the black race, it's it starts as a woman, it starts with your connection to your hair. As a man, it starts with your connection to black women. Black men, when you see black women with bonnets, pajamas, fake, ugly, that's your fault. That woman sees no value in being feminine because she knows black women lose out no matter what. She knows there's no black man, there's no reason to try. And she genuinely believes there's no competition out here. She genuinely believes that it is her right to be ugly, masculine, undesirable because it's okay because she's black. Black men out here believe it's okay to be stupid, ignorant, broke because I'm black, and society will accept it. It's fine. But see, white men and women are held to a much higher standard. That's why fat white women are the main ones in the black community, the main ones in liberal agendas and stuff, because white people have high standards. Broke white men are considered bums. Broke white men get talked about, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of times broke white men, they end up with the fat girls, they end up with the drug addicts, or they end up with the black women who are not accepted, you know, by the high class white people because she's black. So it's like in the black community, you could be all types of trash and still be loved and adored and this, you know, but in the white community, you have to measure up more often than not. And a lot of white parents have higher standards for what their children achieve. A lot of black parents, you can tell because so many black people stay in poverty by having children out of wedlock. And that shows how low the IQ of the average black person truly is. The IQ is problem solving skills, nothing more. IQ is your ability to solve problems. And you see, black people can't solve the problem of white supremacy. They keep falling victim to it, keep falling victim. So black men are broke because black women will still have his baby and fuck him, and he, you know what I'm saying? And black women are ugly because black men will still have babies with her and fuck her and marry her. you know? We don't want to discuss the inferiority of Black people. We want to have discussions and lessons, and we need to do this and we need to do that. Well, someone needs to talk to Black people who have already left the inferiority. Someone needs to explain to white people and explain to other races what's wrong with Black people and why Black people act like that, and why it is so exceptional to be a Black person who is not one of these stereotypes, why it's so rare. Because if you still trying to talk to Black people who choose to be under a curse, who succumb to this curse, who are okay with that, you talking to the wrong people. And so my thing with Monique is, I agree with everything she's saying, but Monique, and I know I know she's on her square, but why are we even addressing people who want to make us look bad? Why are we addressing cursed people? Why are we wasting time on people who already are expressing they have no value, no worth? At what point are we going to start adhering to the definitions of inferior and superior and stop wasting our time on Black people who are inferior? A woman who wearing a bonnet is a sign of fear. Black women are afraid to be sexy. Black women don't want attention that they don't deserve. Black women are not cut out for that life on average. The ones that are doing it, but it's few and far between because most Black women don't have enough class, enough education, enough femininity to receive that level of attention and not ruin it and not become Jezebel. A lot of Black women, again, what the Bible said, if most Black women were as skinny as me, able to speak with a sultry um mesmerizing voice and move seductively and dress coquettishly and dress flirtatiously, and if Black women were able to embody that mysterious femininity of Erzuli naturally, they would be behaving the same way in Isaiah and bring on God's wrath again. So God took that beauty away from the Black women who are haughty. He struck them with baldness. He struck them with low class, with the inability to do art. Because the way you dress and present yourself as a woman is art. So he struck them with lack of talent, lack of skill, lack of intellect, lack of femininity. Because if a lot of these, if they had it, they would go around hating on other Black women instead of elevating them. They would go around sleeping with other Black women's men instead of promoting marriage and faithfulness and promoting sisterhood, which starts with how you treat your other fellow sister. Most Black women will sleep with your man if they can. If your man is fine, whether she's married or not, the average Black woman, if you're another Black woman with a good looking man, she will sleep with him. Most Black women, your man don't even have to look good. He just got to be yours. That's the reality of Black women. And we want to lie about black kings and queens and stuff. I need people to start telling the truth about Black people. Because when I go out, most Black women are rude, full of hatred. When they see you're beautiful, they'll go out of their way to try and manipulate the men around you just to compete with you. They could be married, but they'll flirt with your man in front of their man's face and in front of, that's the reality of Black women that I experience. They'll talk shit about you, talk about the way, if you look good. Black women ain't out here being sisters. Black women are out here doing everything they can to tear down a black woman who has made it and achieved some type of success. And black women hate other black women who are naturally beautiful. I don't have an ounce of makeup on right now, and this is my real hair, and my roots ain't even twisted. And I want to show you all, like, and then a lot of people be like, oh, they, even people with locks be asking me how my locks fall, and they fall heavy and feminine and things like that, and they hang like a Native Americans and stuff. Black people are just so fascinated in these features, as if I'm not black, as if I'm some alien. I am a witch, but I am flesh and blood. And I did not wave a magic wand to look like this. I do my hair. I work out. I scale 3 flights of stairs when some of y'all live like handicapped people. That's why you're gonna be ugly by the time you're my age. Or older. Because you don't live in a way that makes you have to work out. Some of you live, the reason black people are fat and Americans are fat is because everything is about convenience. Stop living conveniently. Stop parking right the fuck in front of the store and park in the back so you have to walk to and fro. Stop all that driving and people with cars and stuff. It's cool if you need a car to live, but a lot of you people would not know how to live like a Native American off of the land and live a minimalist lifestyle. Everything is about convenience, including the way you eat. So yeah, you're fat because you have no regard for the flow of nature. That's why you're obese. You have no regard for the flow of nature. Some of you all are spiritual people, but you're obese because you have a demon of gluttony. Spiritual people remain obese because they have a demon of gluttony. It's very rare that a obese person is spiritual and balanced, like Fat Buddha. It's very rare to find like a Fat Buddha spirit. Most people who are spiritual but they are obese, they are dealing with a parasite spirit of, or the demon of gluttony, or the unclean seven, the sin of gluttony. And gluttony isn't always, it is about how you eat, but greed and gluttony are two sins um that 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 tend to be not mutually exclusive, but a lot of times obese people have a insatiable appetite, and it's not just always for food. It could be for sex, it could be for attention. So when a person is obese, you can tell that they're eating too much, but there's usually another something in their life that they're consuming at a high level. That is it's related to greed, and it turns into gluttony. It turns into, when I can't feed this greed, I'm gonna eat to satisfy my need to take, to fill myself and take from someone, because gluttony is being insatiable, but greed is wanting what someone else has. Greed is wanting things you don't need. So gluttony and greed are both seven deadly sins. They're different, but I want to talk about obesity too, because that is a curse on black people. And while obesity is an American problem, um the acceptance of black femininity as obese and forcing Black men to find obese Black women beautiful because Black women want to create this narrative that Black women are naturally obese and naturally thick. And I think that is the most detrimental aspect of um, Black American culture, that we have made it acceptable for Black women to be ugly, and we have promoted being fat to Black women, to where Black women believe they have a right to go around being fat, undesirable, not working out, not doing your hair, which only leads to hating other Black women who know their worth, and hating other Black women who don't um fit that stereotype of the big Black baby mama, because it's gone from being the mammy to the baby mama. You let the slave master turn you into a mammy, and now you Black women have let Black men turn you into baby mamas. And your mother didn't teach you the importance of being a wife. And a lot of you Black women, you felt like you had a right to have a child, and and that's fine. It's your body, you do what you want, but don't get mad at skinny sisters like me who pursue careers and pursue goals instead of settle for a man who doesn't meet the standards that we set or that we were raised with. But a lot of you sisters, you lower your standards, or you think it's okay to have a baby because that's what Black women do. And a lot of you sisters, you will go along to get along. You do whatever, because it's like, I'll have girlfriends. I know 20 other Black women who have a child by a man they're not married to. I know 20 other Black women who are obese that I can hang out with all day and watch certain shows and watch stuff that makes us feel like it's okay to live like this, even though we're not okay with how we look. I know 20 other Black women that are strippers and that have sex for money, and that go around looking for white men to have sex for money with, or go around actively looking for criminal Black men who have money. I know 20 sisters who are hoes who will sleep with other women's men just to um feel like they are one of these hot girls making music now. All of them trying to be Lil Kim. None of them as talented as Nicki Minaj. And I say Nicki because I don't think it's fair to compare underground actual female hip hop artists with the mainstream Black Marilyn Monroe hoes that are being promoted to our youth. Um don't believe the hype. Black people are not kings and queens. The average Black person um is vibrating on a very low vibration. um and even if they're conscious, a lot of times it's a marginalized consciousness. A lot of my problem is how afraid Black people who were Trump supporters, who are Black conservatives, who are Christian conservatives, and who were um MAGA supporters, or who hashtag MAGA believed in it. I don't like how much fear the real revolutionaries with morals, Christian morality, dignity, conservative class, you know, I don't like how many Black people who saw the benefits of Trump's campaign of Make America Great Again, afraid to admit that you agree with Trump, or you agree with Trump supporters, or you agree with certain policies, or you agree with the slogan "Make America Great Again" as it pertains to what Black people have to do to get on white people's level. Like, it's sad that that there is so many Black people in America who are afraid to disown niggers and to disown these liberal monsters who want to destroy law and order. And it's sad that so many Black people are afraid to speak up and say Black people are a big problem with America, because our delinquent culture has seeped into the higher class levels, where white people have now become liberal, and white people now want to behave like a bunch of niggers because they don't want to uphold the high standards that they set, that a lot of Black people were achieving. So now that Black people have achieved and surpassed a lot of white society in the standards they set, white people have said, well, fuck it, y'all are here now, so we can just, you know, we can act like y'all, because what white people want to do is they want the right to degrade women and call women bitches, and they want the right to fuck Black men, and white guys want to be able to call women bitches and sag they pants and stuff, and they want to be able to sleep with Black women who got swag and who are interesting. you know um White people want to shake off those high standards and high expectations that white society places on them, and Black people want to live with dignity and respect. And so Black people who have gotten dignity and respect by getting educated and infiltrating white America with our talent and our skills and our professional abilities, white people now want to behave like niggas, fuck and Black people, listen to hip hop, you know, act delinquent, act hood. They want to be able to be slaves. They want to be able to do nothing and complain all day, and still be treated like a human being, even though you're completely uncivilized. They want to be able to be savage and still be treated like American citizens, even though you're savage, uncivilized, and you have no respect for women. And the only safety that we get is when the police come in our communities and clean up the riffraff and shit. And half the time the police ain't doing it. Half the time, um it, it, it is a eye for an eye, because the police don't actually do anything about Black crime anymore. So that's what's happening now. And I want to see more Black people. I want to see more Black conservatives. And again, it's on me to also actively join in Black conservative movements and agendas and events and things where I'm actually meeting higher class, higher morality, higher caliber of Black people. Because and I think that a lot of people who've been following me, you can kind of tell. But I'm really not willing to um cast pearls before swine anymore. And I can't be Black High Priestess and fulfill my birthright as Chastity Unique Smith in that spiritual arena without being completely honest about the spiritual status of the Black race. Black people are not going to improve until Black people accept that the things that are normal to us are inferior. And the fact that it is acceptable in the Black race that the women are ugly and manly, that says everything about our race. The status of the woman determines the status of the race. Black women wear bonnets and pajamas and take no pride in their look because the Black race is inferior. And the Black man pours no love into the Black woman. The Black man takes from the Black woman and gives to the white woman. And as a result, you get Black women who have no self-worth and find no value in being a woman. Listen, learn, like, subscribe, follow me on IG. Stay tuned for some more uploads. Feel free to, ask questions. Schedule oracle consultation if you have serious inquiries. It's $50. That's gonna triple in 3 months. Because I'm only getting better and I'm still the only person doing what I'm doing. So get your oracle consultation if you have serious questions about occult science. Especially if you're Black and you have questions or the ancestors have urged you to get a reading from me. If the ancestors have urged you to get a reading from me, purchase it on Etsy. Don't message me. Don't email me. If they told you to get a reading from me, get a reading from me. If you have other inquiries, you have my information below. Peace and love.